Jason Voorhees, the man in the hockey mask, one of the most popular horror icons of all time, and one of the most popular horror series of all time. I hold in my hands the original, the firstborn, the pioneer, the pre-intermediate, Friday the 13th. But guess what? He's not in this one. That's right. Imagine Harry Potter not being in the first Harry Potter. Imagine James Bond not being in the first James Bond movie. Imagine Funshine Bear not being in the first Care Bears movie. They'd be boring. However, this is still considered one of the best movies in the series. So what does this movie have to offer? Let's dig in. The movie opens at Camp Crystal Lake in the year 1958. Thank you for putting the year in white font over white lights. We then take a gander at some camp counselors singing a worship song. I guess life really was better back in the 50s. Everyone was so behaved. Except those two. I guess Christian worship songs get them in the mood. Wait. Two teenagers sneaking off to perform promiscuous activities completely alone? Cue the music. Smile, you're on candid camera. And surprise, the guy gets killed, and the girl is subjected to a cheap 80s transition. So 21 years later, we meet a hitchhiker.
Hi, girl. Excuse me. Hi, boy. Hey, you speak English? How far is it to Camp Crystal Lake?
She's trying to hitch a ride to Camp Crystal Lake, where she'll be the cook. She walks into a convenience store with a bunch of townspeople and a Mexican Andre the Giant.
Anybody want a peanut?
And asks for a ride. They call the camp Camp Blood.
Camp Blood? They're opening that place again?
Camp Blood? It's haunted. It has a death curse.
You going out to the crossroads, Enos? What about a lift? They'll be halfway.
No sweat, Trudy.
Amos will drive you.
All the girls up there gonna look as good as you?
I don't know.
You're going to Camp Blood, ain't you? Ralph, get out of here. Go on, get! Leave people alone!
You'll never come back again.
Oh, shut up, Ralph.
It's got a death curse.
Okay, don't be confused. I looked this up. I guess mid-production, the idea was thrown out that maybe this should be a kids' movie. The production team was evenly torn about it, so they compromised. They filmed both an adult version and a kids' version for Nickelodeon. Camp Blood is a pretty scary name for kids. If it was said seriously by decent actors, that could be too much for a kid to handle. But if someone goofy like Ralph says it, it's no big deal. But why was Ralph kept in this movie? I don't know.
Oh, shut up, Ralph.
We then see more counselors on their way to Camp Crystal Lake.
You really think there'll be other gorgeous women at Camp Crystal Lake besides yourself?
Sex all you ever think about,
Hey,
Ed?
no, absolutely not. Ha! Sometimes I just think about kissing women.
What? We eventually meet the rest of the counselors at the camp. Colorful, charismatic, memorable characters like Girl 1, Guy 1, Girl 2, Guy 2, Girl 3, and Kevin Bacon. They're all there 2 weeks before the camp opens to get it ready, and they're also there for another reason. So they're all new there, they have no idea what to do, and for some reason the head counselor, Phil, decides to leave. Remember that green Jeep? We see someone watching some of the counselors from behind a tree. Not a horrible hiding spot, unless they walk right towards you. She sees you. She's got to see you. What? Where are you going? Either the killer is a tree or this girl has no peripheral vision. Don't let her drive. Let's go back to the hitchhiker. So she's picked up by the killer in a Jeep. The same colored Jeep that the head counselor has. This could be meant to throw us off and make us think the head counselor is the killer, but it's probably just because the movie couldn't afford to get more than one car.
Guess I always wanted to work with children. I hate when people call them kids. Sounds like little goats. But when you've had a dream as long as I have, you'll do anything.
Okay, please kill her.
Hey, wasn't that the road up for Camp Crystal Lake back there?
Oh, thank God.
I think we better stop. Please? Please, stop! Ah! Ah!
instead of going forward away from the killer, she decides to run sideways and... I bet she regrets going into those neck of the woods. I know that wasn't funny, but at least it made sense. Savor that sense. You're not going to get any in the next few scenes. We see the counselors putting up a dock, and I'm sure the director told everyone to look like they're having fun, but...
Okay, little to the left. Now, little, no. Okay, baby, bro. Move it out. Let's go.
You know, now that I think about it, the other girl wasn't so bad. Instead of making jokes, let's just ask each other questions and laugh at the answer, even if it's in no way funny.
Now, if you were a flavor of ice cream, what would it be?
Rock and roll.
Hey!
What's that vitamin C stuff do for you anyway?
Vitamin C is supposed to neutralize the nitrates or something.
The nitrates. Oh, we're not laughing at that? So to kill some time, a few things happen. There's a snake in one of the cabins.
Is it dead?
Either that or it's got a very short clone.
Hey, at least that made sense. A cop comes by.
Looking for somebody.
Now, who's that?
A guy named Ralph. Town crazy.
Well, there's no crazy people around here, right?
Shh.
This guy Ralph, is he dangerous?
Only to the plausibility of this movie. And sure enough, we do get more Ralph.
I got to warn you. You're doomed to stay. Go. Go.
Really, what Disney Channel movie did this guy crawl out of?
You're all doomed.
Why does he belong in this movie? He leaves for now, and the movie tries to, I guess, develop these characters, or just kill time.
It's gonna storm. You can tear down that valley like a son of a gun.
I've been afraid of storms ever since I was a little kid.
No, really?
Yeah, I've had this dream about 5 or 6
Oh no.
nights in a thunderstorm,
Mm-hmm.
and it's raining really hard.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds like pebbles when it hits the ground. I can hear it. I try to block out the sound with my hands, only it doesn't work. It just keeps getting louder and louder.
Continue.
And the rain turns to blood. And the blood washes away in little rivers. And then the sound stops.
It says there's terror and suspense in this movie. Where is it?
I know what we can do. We're going to play Monopoly.
Oh, come on.
What?
We're going to play strip Monopoly.
Oh,
Now, it's easy. Instead of paying rent, you pay clothes. Bill can be banker, unless, of course, he's chicken. Why don't you see if Marcy left any of that grass?
I understand they're talking about getting naked and smoking weed, but their hokey acting makes everything they say sound so innocent.
It's easy. Instead of paying rent, you pay clothes. Bill can be banker, unless, of course, he's chicken.
Well, heaven help you if you land in one of my hotels.
Why don't you see if Marcy left any of that grass?
What happened to my 500?
Right there. Where's my shoe?
So after girl one's pointless story, it starts to rain and her and Kevin go into a cabin. After some good old fornication, she leaves and, of course... What a pain in the neck. I know that's the second neck joke, but the killer ain't touching anything else. Speaking of which, we also see this on the bunk above them, which means that while we were listening to that boring story, this guy was getting killed and possibly lifted onto that bunk, which is a very funny thought once you know who the killer is. But no, the movie chose to show this story. Thank you.
Dad? Must be my imagination. What
What a pain in the axe. Sorry. You know, you'd think there'd be more blood, or any blood at all, where the axe actually hit her. Okay, I get it. Every counselor is going to get killed abruptly, violently, and without much suspense. Can we just hurry this up? Yeah, come on, pop out and kill her. What was that?
Hello?
Wait, that's not scary. Lights? That's the opposite of scary. Lights are what make scary things not scary.
Come on out, it's not funny anymore!
Yeah, it's not scary anymore either. You know what? That's okay. It wasn't scary, but it was close. You got a few more people to kill. Try again. You can get this. So the head counselor finally makes his way back to camp, and then... Ooh, scary. Light.
Who's that? Oh, hi. What are you doing out in this mess?
Try again.
What is going on?
Brenda turned into an axe. So the two remaining counselors split up for a bit until the girl catches the guy hanging around. Because he's hanging on the door. She doesn't get it. So she locks herself in a cabin using a rope. Yeah, and to make sure the killer doesn't get in through the windows, just pull the shades over them. Good. Oh, and put stuff in front of the door. Don't use anything heavy like the couch, just a couple pieces of firewood. Now you're safe. Relax. Nothing is gonna come out of the window. Soon after, a green Jeep pulls up.
Steve! Oh, Steve! How are you?
What?
How are you?
Who are you?
How are you?
Did she dub her lines underwater?
Well, I'm Mrs. Voorhees, an old friend of the Christies.
Oh, thank you.
So she shows Mrs. Voorhees the dead bodies.
Oh, what monster could have done this?
Bill's out there.
Sorry.
Steve should never have opened this place again. There's been too much trouble here. Did you know that a young boy drowned the year before those two others were killed? The counselors weren't paying any attention. They were making love while that young boy drowned. His name was Jason. Jason was my son, and today is his birthday.
Whoa. So you're telling me she overpowered Kevin Bacon from under a bed and had the strength to stick an arrow through the bed through a human? You're telling me she picked up a girl and threw her through a window? This 54-year-old woman. I am familiar with where this series goes, but I can't help but daydream about one minor change. Tell me why that wouldn't work. Okay, never mind. But she does wake up, and rather than just keep hitting her or tying the old woman up, the girl runs away. Now you may say to yourself, that didn't make any sense, because he's dead. Did someone just let him go? However, the terror continues with Mrs. Voorhees doing what she does best. Turn on the lights.
Kill her, Mommy. Kill her.
If now isn't a good time to shoot her, I don't know when is.
Killer!
It's okay, don't worry. There's rolls of string you can throw at her. Really? That didn't work? Okay, well this probably won't do anything, but just try the shovel. Yeah, don't tie her up or anything, just keep playing hide and go seek with the serial killer. So instead of going back for the gun, she decides to hide in a cellar. If the Psycho theme song and the Jaws theme song had a baby, hold still. Talk about losing your mojo. So she just walks away once again. Mrs. Voorhees finds her once again. You just killed like 10 people. Why is this so hard now? But eventually... I know what I'm talking about in therapy next week. So she takes a boat out and stays there till morning. Between what she just went through and where her hand is, she peed herself about 10 times that night. But hey, at least she didn't crap herself. Never mind. And speaking of which, excuse me. So the next thing she knows, she's in a hospital.
Do you remember very much?
The boy. Is he dead too?
Who?
The boy, Jason.
Ma'am, we didn't find any boy.
Then he's still there.
That's right. He never aged and he's lived underwater this whole time. Either Jason is a Gungan, or Mrs. Voorhees married a fish. I found it makes more sense the less you think about it. So that's Friday the 13th, the original, the one that started everything. And what do I think of it? It's pretty unoriginal, mildly scary at best, consistently hokey. It doesn't always make sense, but you can't help but love it. There's a certain campy charm to this movie, and while characters are consistently hokey and unconvincing, they never come across as unlikable. It's just a good old guilty pleasure that I and many people love to constantly revisit. So thank you so much for digging in with me, and I'll see you next time. Unless this gets like no views.